Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Grow Your Tutoring Business. We have a special guest. This is Jan, who we've been, well, actually, shamefully for me, this is probably like the fourth attempt at trying to get together and record. Every time we booked, I've gone, oh no, I've double booked, or just something's come up. So thank you so much for your patience. First of all, Jan, we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
It's such a pleasure to chat. Let's be really honest, we've just chatted for over half an hour off record about all things China, Chinese tuition and teaching. And we've just promised to get together and record that same conversation again in the new year, because it's really interesting just to talk about the tuition market on an international scale, but particularly with China in mind. It would be great to learn a little bit more about you, Jan, and share you with the audience of Grow Your Tutoring Business and Tutors Who Thrive. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why we're chatting today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Richard. It's an honor to be on your podcast. Hello, everyone. My name's Yan. I am an online tutor for 7 years, and I'm originally from China, from Shanghai, and I exclusively teach Chinese students English literature. So currently, I'm also the CEO and co-founder of Fun Class, which is a gamified virtual classroom for online tutoring to make online classes as fun as a game to maximize student engagement. The reason why I'm doing this is because it all comes from my own frustration as an online tutor for 7 years. I tutor very young kids, like sometimes 6 years old, 8 years old. And when I was trying to look for the platform that can really cater to this age group, unfortunately, I found nothing that I was looking for, something that can be more gamified, more fun, more engaging for the younger learners. So that's the moment when I decided to, hey, why not? I create a platform by myself, since I have all of the experience as an online tutor, right? I know what kind of tools I need to use, etc. But I'm not a programmer. I'm not a developer. I don't have any coding skill. So that's why last year, around September, I finally found my CTO, who is a brilliant software developer, and we began the journey together. And right now it's been 1 year and almost a half for building Fun Class. And it's been a fantastic journey. We've got so much positive feedback from the tutors, from the students, from the parents, seeing how Fun Class changed their online learning experience. Yeah, so that's kind of an overview about my background and what I'm doing right now.
What are the big challenges there, Jan? Like, obviously, like when you have an idea like this and you're like, look, I really want this thing to look a particular way or do a particular thing, because you've got that knowledge of what a young child would need. And we'll
Right.
talk about gamification a bit later. Like,
Yeah.
how do you take that and then express it or communicate it with somebody who does have the coding knowledge to make that work? What are the big
Right.
challenges between like what you see in your head as being the vision for whatever it
Right.
was at the beginning to what it was when you started communicating it with a coding and a website?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. So, to be honest, my co-founder, my CTO, doesn't have any educational
Mm,
like background, right? She is not a tutor. She doesn't have teaching experience. So, it was a challenge at first, like to convey my vision to her.
mm.
But what I did is to visualize everything, what I need. So I put it
Okay.
on Canva. Um, Everything, like I was imagining what kind of tool it should be look like, the different functionalities, etc. So I made it very visual for my co-founder to see, okay, that is the software we're going to develop. And then like she made everything happen by
Okay.
coding, etc. Yeah, so I would say overall it was a challenge at the beginning just to convey the idea to her by using this kind of visual design, etc., to make it more like a concrete in her mind.
Mm. Okay, yeah, because I think that sometimes this is no different to us having an idea in business. Like in our
Yeah,
mind, we go, I want it to be like this. And then actually pulling that idea out and then making it a reality is so different. And then
true.
there's so many challenges involved of creating something brand new, like from
Yeah, yeah,
scratch.
yeah,
Whether
yeah.
it's, but I mean, particularly if it's a brand new like software, like what you've experienced over the last year and a half. But even as a kind of new service, sometimes you go, right, it needs to look like this, but the reality is something slightly different. Like, so for example, how many times did your CTO come back and go, I don't think we can make that work? How like
Very frequently, she would
Yeah.
always ask for more clarification. What do you mean by this? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because
true.
they've got to solve problems that we don't even realize are problems, I found. And I've
Yeah,
not got a ton of experience in it, but when I worked in a different business and everything we offered was in an online system, and we go, we really need the system to be able to do this, they would go,
yeah.
don't think that's going to happen unless we do. And then suddenly it became this massive job, and we were like, well, can't you just put a bit
True.
of code in that makes it do that? And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. They're solving problems that we don't understand. So that I know that communication is really important. Okay, gamification. So this is like a real kind of key word around what you're offering,
Yeah,
because it's not just an online system or an online
right.
tuition system like we would use Zoom or some other kind
Exactly.
of some video software. So tell us a little bit about the gamification.
Of course, yeah. So first of all, gamification is really the biggest differentiator of Fun Class from any other virtual classrooms or meeting platforms out there in the market. So first of all, I want to talk about why I came up with this idea of using gamification. So in my previous tutoring, I use a lot of different games in order to appeal to my students to keep them focused, keep them
Mm,
engaged all the time. So that's something I'm already doing. And I know a lot of tutors I've talked to, they all use games in their lessons, right? But the question is whether there is an easier way for the teachers to use the gamified tools directly in a platform. They don't need to come up with extra websites, whatever, to do the games, right? So
mm,
that's the moment where I feel like, okay, I need a gamified platform that is already providing all of the tools that the teachers need instead of, okay, designing this game, design that game by myself, right? Because tutors are very busy. So we want to streamline all of the process. That's how the gamification idea came from. And we know it worked because Duolingo, right? Everybody is using Duolingo to learn
yeah.
languages because the gamification feature, it gets people addicted, hooked. I want to do it every day. So yeah, gamification is a very powerful tool when it comes to learning. However, it's surprising to me that when I was looking for another platform as alternative, I don't see any gamified platform. So that's why I see there is a gap in the market that we can fill in. Yeah,
Mm.
so that's how I feel like we need to make a gamified platform called Fun Class. So that's how the idea came from. And then secondly, I want to talk about the impact of gamification. So the main reason we want to use gamification is to drive student engagement, right? Especially for the younger learners when it comes to online learning. It can be really boring to just sit in front of a screen without doing anything because they can't, because they don't have that tool that they can use to engage with the teacher. So the gamification is mainly to maximize student engagement. Thus, the student will have better learning outcome. Yeah, because they're more engaged with the teacher, they're having fun in the lesson, so they enjoy the learning. And then the learning outcome will be way better than just using a Zoom. So
Mm.
that is the impact of gamification. And gamification is very related to human motivation, right? So when you're playing a game, I really like it because it's motivating me. And then it again comes back to some of the features of elements of human motivation. And I don't know whether, Richard, you know this. There are mainly two types of motivation. One is extrinsic motivation. The other is internal, right? Intrinsic motivation.
Mm.
So Fun Class is trying to combine both to
Mm.
appeal to students' motivation. So when it comes to the extrinsic motivation, very like familiar examples would be the reward, right? Like the badges,
The gold
etc.
sticker. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the stickers, and
Mm.
every child likes it. They feel like, yay, I'm making progress. I'm doing so well that my teachers are rewarding me. So that is the extrinsic motivation. And the other one, which is more important and more sustaining, that is intrinsic motivation. That is the internal like enjoyment of doing something, right? So you don't need any extra reward to do it. That is intrinsic motivation. And gamification can very well appeal to both. Yeah.
Mm.
So when it comes to the reward, the points, it's mainly the extrinsic motivation, right? I want the reward. But in another perspective, the reward can also mean the students' learning progress. Only when the students are making progress, when they're demonstrating some learning effort, then the teacher can give them the reward, right? So,
Mm.
and the other perspective is building their confidence. It's building their competence. They see, oh, I've got a lot of points. My avatar is leveling up. That is a representation of my progress. So that would give the student more intrinsic motivation to do it again because I'm doing well. I'm making progress. I want to do it again. So that is the intrinsic motivation. And another thing when it comes to intrinsic motivation is the collaboration with other people. We call it social relatedness. So imagine when you're doing something together with your friend, with someone else, you would feel more motivated than doing it alone. Right? So that's another element where gamification can play very well because we have a lot of team collaboration games on Fun Class. Like students can together answer quiz questions to fight a monster, to fight a virtual monster on Fun Class. So that is another example of using gamification to appeal to students'
Yeah.
intrinsic motivation. Yeah.
I there's another whole podcast there about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation because in the UK in particular, we use a lot in school. We use a lot of extrinsic motivations for our
Right.
students. And
Yeah.
I don't think we do enough with the intrinsic part.
Right.
And most of us will do this in our tuition business just naturally. So that what Jan was saying there about the whole that intrinsic feeling of accomplishment, like
Exactly.
that is the reward. That is what we should be focusing on. And if you can marry it up with the gold sticker, with that achievement of, oh, they're feeling really proud of me, or I'm feeling really proud of myself, like that's how we all win. I mean, look, the external stuff as well, like we call that bribery sometimes. Like, so we lean into the whole, like, well, if you do this, you will get. But then what happens? I had this recently. So about a year ago, I had someone I used to work with, an ex-colleague, and I think I'd done a blog post about it. And she was like, I read it, it's really interesting, but I'm struggling to do this in my classroom. What do I need to do? And I was like, actually, it's not a big shift between the extrinsic and the intrinsic because all we're doing is this change of language.
Yeah.
When you do so, rather than going like, if you do this, you will get like a house point or a thing. If you get this, you will be able to achieve.
Right.
Right. So you just shift the language, but it doesn't mean you don't give them the reward.
Yeah.
But you're not talking about the reward. That's not the focus. The reward happens as an outcome of them doing the work. Because if our young children, and I'm talking because I'm a primary school teacher, so if our young children understand that if they do the work, they get a positive outcome, and they feel that positive outcome, they're far more likely to be motivated for the next bit and
Exactly.
the next bit.
Right.
Whereas if it's just the reward, I'm only doing it for the reward. What are they focusing on? What are they really learning? Their mind's on the wrong thing. So I think I
Absolutely.
have a big bee in my bonnet about this because I feel like we set up our schooling system, education system slightly wrong. So it's nice to know. And I think that was a big thing for me. Like when you were talking about gamification, is how you bring those two things together. And that sounds amazing. I love the group aspect as well of fighting a boss and doing questions. That sounds amazing. But yeah, and this all sounds great. And I've heard good things about Fun Class too, because I've a lot of people message me about these sorts of things. What led you towards teaching tuition in the first place? Where did it all begin for you?
Yeah, oh, that's a very good question. So to be 100% honest, I started tutoring to earn pocket money.
Yeah.
When I was
Okay.
18 years
Yeah.
old, yeah, I graduated from high school. I had nothing to do during the summer holiday. So that's when I started to think, yeah, maybe I can tutor some children, like primary school
Mm,
age children to earn some pocket money. Because, yeah, I was a very good student at school, and my mom happens to have some friends, parent friends, and they were asking, hey, do you have any teachers to recommend? And she recommended her daughter, that's me, to teach her parents' children. Yeah, her friends' children. So that's
mm,
how I first stepped into the door of on tutoring. By that time, I still went to the student's home to do homeschooling, like every 2 days or during the weekend, I go to the student's home to teach to tutor in person, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like I'm making some impact on people's life because the students are saying, "Hey, Yan, I really like your classes." So that's the moment I feel like, wow, I really enjoy it. I'm
mm,
making the the life better for the other people. And that's very important for me. That's kind of my value. I want to make an impact on other people's life. So that's why I decided to become a tutor. And later I wanted to scale it, right? So I started to do more online so I can reach out to students that are not living near around me. So I tutor students all around China at the moment. So that's why, yeah, I'm doing tutoring. It's one of my biggest passion to teach, to teach people.
And so from those early experiences, because these business ideas come from the fact that we've experienced something, it's lived
Yeah.
experience, and then from all of that, it leads us back towards fun class. So when you were particularly switching to online,
Mm.
not I suppose gamification is going to come up again, but what else was missing for you as like educational tools that
Yeah.
kind of led you
Yeah.
towards coming up with your own idea?
Absolutely. So when it comes to online learning, I feel like one of the biggest challenges is how to keep students focused, right? So when it comes to in-person learning, the students are sitting in front of you. So you know what they're doing, whether they're focusing or not. But when it comes to online tutoring, students can just turn off the camera, right? You have no idea what they're doing, whether they're listening or maybe they're doing something else. So that is a huge challenge for me when I transitioned from in-person to online tutoring.
Yeah.
And another one is when it comes to group tutoring. In person, again, students can have all of the collaboration with each other in person. But when it comes to online tutoring, it's more difficult. Yeah, students, they don't have that sense of community. They don't know each other. So they're less likely to communicate with each other. Yeah, so
Mm.
that's another challenge I encounter in online tutoring, right? With the screen, it's like a barrier of
Mm.
communication. So these are the two main challenges I found.
Yeah, I'm gonna also mirror that because I don't do a lot of online tuition now. Obviously, COVID did all online and kind of went through that big learning curve of how to do it and found that moving from in person to online, I felt like something was missing. I was finding it
Right.
difficult to have that connection in the same way.
Exactly. Exactly.
And yeah, and I think we were still very much in the world of Zoom then,
Hmm.
because that was all there really was. There was a few
True.
other like little
Yeah.
platforms, but
Yeah.
you wasn't really none of them were geared up for tuition in mind. It was geared up for this, like videos. That was it. And it does a really good job of that, which is great. But then I was finding that not being able to react to what was happening in front of me, there was
Mm,
something missing, whether it was the communication, like maybe sometimes the video was off, or
right.
even the environment of being at home was tricky at first because this was all
Hmm.
new to everybody. And there's
True.
almost like that level of education, like this is how we do it online. These are the tools we're going to use, and allowing people to get used to that. How do you support? Well, I suppose it's both really. How do you support new people to understand how fun class works, like new tutors, but also then how do you support the families on the other side to interact?
Yeah.
Is there like a load of support around there as well? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So before taking that question, I also want to quickly explain how Fun Class solved the two challenges I just
Okay.
mentioned, right? Like how to keep students focused, engaged,
Hmm.
and also build that like connection among the students. So for the first challenge of keeping students engaged and focused, Fun Class actually has an attention tracker. So even if the student turn off the camera, Fun Class is still tracking the focus of the screen. So right now, my focus screen is Zoom, right? But
Mm.
what if I'm switching to the website, maybe, or watching YouTube videos? So Fun Class tracks that. And as
Okay.
long as that passes 1 minute, the students are shifting to another screen. Fun Class give the alert to the teacher saying Yan might not be paying attention. And at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time, since we're using like a pet development game for the Fun Class gamification system, every student has a pet to nurture, to develop. So if the student is distracted, their pet is going to be hurt. Their pet is going to lose lives. So that is like a punishment for student distraction. And since we implement that feature, as I'm still teaching students using Fun Class, none of my students is distracting now. Is distracted now. So that's a huge
Mm.
improvement in my students' attention. Yeah, by using this attention tracker, and it's related to their very dear friend pet. So that's the first how we solve this problem. And second, to build that connection, right, among the students and with the teacher. So there are two features we build. Number one is the peer badge. So instead of teaching, rewarding the student all the time, if it's a group class, students can also reward each other badges.
Like
So
that. Yeah.
exactly, to build that
Mm.
sense of community, right? So students can choose between an engagement badge or contribution badge or progress badge to reward to another student in the classroom. Yeah, so that's
Mm.
how we want to build the sense of community. Students are supporting each other. And another one, to build that communication, the feedback, we also building the teacher feedback and the student feedback. So it's a kind of two-way feedback for the teacher and the student. So after the lesson, the student will see a pop-up on their screen, leaving the feedback for the teacher to tell them what they think about the lesson, anything they would like to do more or less in the future. And then for the teacher, since I know a lot of tutors, including me, we're writing the student reports every week,
Mm.
right? But right now, probably you're using WhatsApp or email to send to the parents. On Fun Class, teachers can directly leave feedback for students, like some start rating for engagement, for learning progress, for contribution, whatever, and a paragraph of the student's performance. So no need to use other tools to send feedback. So that's
Mm.
another way for the teacher and the student to connect more better in this online learning environment.
Yeah, they sound really, really like positive features. I think in particular, like the feedback, because this is important,
Mm-hmm.
isn't it? Particularly in like
Yeah,
in the international tuition market, like more so than like in the UK. And I'm not saying UK parents don't want feedback because they do,
yeah,
but when you're teaching in China or you're connecting with families in China, there will be that expectation that you're going to give that feedback.
true.
And I think the detail is you just go deeper on the detail. That's what I found. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
and you're making that as easy as possible for the tutor is
Right.
amazing. Yeah, having a like
Yeah.
so the parents have a portal they sign into, Jan, is that
True,
okay?
exactly. So that's kind of, I'm going to answer your previous question about the
Mm,
support, right? We provide for both the tutors and students' parents. So that's true. Every student has a student portal that the parents can access at any time. And the teachers, yet they also have their dedicated teacher portal. So that means unlike Zoom, you have to send the link every time, right, to the
mm,
students. On Fun Class, yeah, no need to send the link every time, only the first time to onboard the students. And then students can always log in to their account to join the class by clicking just one button to join class. So that's
mm,
how we make it very easy for onboarding, right? For both the students and the teachers, very easy. And then in addition to that, we have a lot of students in China at the moment. So we also made a specific Chinese handbook, yeah, to onboard the students, the parents, to tell them how to
mm,
use Fun Class, etc. And
mm,
we also have the same handbook for the tutors, yeah, to explain all of the functionalities on Fun Class,
mm.
a lot of tutorials to help them get around, to get familiarized with the platform. Yeah, so we do provide a lot of support for both tutors and the parents to get onboarded.
It sounds amazing, and I know there'll be a lot of people who are like really like, into the whole gamification side of stuff, and they're doing this in their business, like you say now, but it's very
Yeah,
manual, and they're trying to make sure that
right.
they're keeping people interested. So I know there'll be people who would love to like connect with you on this, and we'll share all those details with everybody. So don't panic. I'll make sure it's really easy for everybody. We'll share links. Um, what's next for Fun Class? Because this is like
Yeah.
a if anybody doesn't know this, let's just get into how hard software is to
Mhm.
like one set up in the first place and
Right.
maintain, but
Right.
then also to stay innovative. And that you,
Exactly.
yeah. So what's next for Fun Class? Where do you
That's
see
a
it going next?
That's another great question. So at the moment, the product Fun Class is mainly for independent tutors, like the
Mm,
functionalities I just mentioned. But when it comes to an academy, right, an institution, what we're doing at the moment is to develop an academy product for
okay.
the academy owner or the management or the operational guys to really have a transparency of their academy, what is happening in the lessons, right? Like the student attendance, the learning analytics, etc. So that's something we're building to make everything in one platform. So
Mm,
as an academy, you don't need to use so many different tools, right? For example, you might use Zoom for teaching, you might use Google Classroom to assign homework, you might use Tutor Cruncher or Tutorbird to do the online tutoring management, and then use Stripe, whatever, to collect payments. So you're using so many different softwares. And for Fun Class, our dream is to make everything in one platform. So you don't need to have so many subscriptions all around, and you can save thousands per year by having just one platform that can do everything for you. Yeah, so that is what we are working on at the moment, to build this academy product to really streamline everything for tutoring business. Yeah, and in the future, there's another very, very huge goal to integrate AI functionalities to Fun Class, because at the moment, again, like when it comes to feedback or report, etc., teachers are writing it very manually, right? As a tutor, I hate writing reports, to be honest, sorry. But AI can do that for you, since we have a dedicated the meeting software connected to our management backend, right? So the AI can actually summarize the lesson for you, for the teacher, and then potentially give some recommendations for the student where they need to improve. Yeah, what else they need to do, right, to achieve certain goal, etc. So this kind of AI integration can be so powerful to both like make the life easier for the teacher, but also for the learning more personalized for the students.
Sounds like a dream. I've seen this in action in another piece of software, but it's really expensive, and so like from a tuition perspective, I'm not sure it's just being built for tutors in mind, this particular product. There's other benefits to it, but it's magical. Like so if you're obviously with Fun Class and any kind of online system, there's an element of, do you record on Fun Class? Does it record the sessions with them?
Yeah,
so like because you have that data, because that's essentially what it is, it picks up all the right bits, and then it goes, right, this is the engagement level, this is what they answered well, this is what they need to work on next. And then it can even provide, like with the AI in mind, it'll be able to go, right, look at this clip, or go and find this website I did it, and it will provide the ongoing support for you. Or if you have it linked and you have all the software and I suppose the resources within your own website or your own business, then it can link to that as well. Like, so it's just, that's really exciting. I know, again, like lots of people will go, yes, please, as that saves me hours of my life. Sign me up soon. Yeah. And what's the best place for people to come and find out about Fun Class, so find out more?
Yeah, so you can just Google Fun Class, and the first search outcome would be Fun Class. So you can have a lot of information about tutorials, etc., on YouTube. If you just search Fun Class, we do provide a lot of support for tutors new to Fun Class to get familiarized the platform. But definitely just Google Fun Class and you will find us.
And good to connect with you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
That's where we met. I think that's a really good place. You're very you respond really quickly on LinkedIn. So if you have questions, it's always good to just send them to Yan, and she'll get back to you. Yan, thank you so much. Like, I really look forward to the next podcast. I think there's a couple more we could do definitely in the future. We'll talk more about the Chinese market next time.
Yes,
I think if you are interested in trialing or having a look at Fun Class, go and check out what Yan just said. Go and Google it. But I'll also share the links in, this is mainly on Spotify and YouTube, so make sure they're in the description. So wherever you're listening, it'll be in there for you. If you've got any questions, go to reach out to me. I will then just pass you to Yan anyway. But go and find Yan on LinkedIn. She's definitely worth connecting with if you want to stay up to date with what's happening. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving up your time. Also for your patience in this, because this is our fourth attempt to getting together and recording this, Yan. It was worth the wait from my side, definitely. Is there anything that I've not asked you about today that you'd like to share with us? Have we left anything behind?
I just want to have a quick conclusion to say that Fun Class does provide 1 month free trial. So for any tutor who is interested after today's podcast, feel free to sign up to a free trial for 1 month. And then you can explore it with your students. You trial it to see whether that can really transform your online tutoring. So that's the last word I want to say.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jan. We'll speak soon.
Thank you so much, Richard. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening.